Who's in the room tonight? We got a case.
Welcome to Love on Trial, where
Excuses get cross-examined.
Red flags get entered into evidence.
and toxic love gets a life sentence. I'm the Recoverist, and you're here for real talk at Love on Trial. And I know you guys are familiar with My Body, My Choice. Well, today we're doing it a little bit different. We've got a male perspective and all male love litigator panel. We got Byron and Jay.
Yes.
And so today we're going to be focused on the men. So, men, get your fingers ready. We want to hear you in the comments. So, I know everybody's excited about the topic that we're going to drop, which is around should men have financial abortion rights, and we'll get to that. But before we get there, we're going to build our case and examine the evidence along the way. So, the first question that we're going to look at is, should DNA tests be mandatory?
100%. Let me jump in. 100% they should be mandatory. And to me, it's very simple. Before you're able to put a name on a birth certificate, it should be DNA tested that that person that's going on that birth certificate is the father. This would eliminate all of the foolishness, all of the paternity fraud, all of the everything. If you don't know who the father is, then that is a personal issue. You can't put down anybody. You have to have it proven.
How are you
And
going to prove it if you don't know, unless you get a test?
well,
I
a
mean, I don't
woman,
understand that logic that if you don't know.
well, again, I personally think that you should have to have a child license to even have children. But
That's
that's
going to be a
another
whole nother
episode.
episode.
But if the woman doesn't know, if she's in the hospital, she doesn't know who it is that she had or whatever, then she should alert whoever the possible father is. If she doesn't know it all, she can't put anybody down. But nobody gets to be put down without a DNA test saying that they are the father. We live in 2026. There's no reason, we're not in the Stone Age. There's no reason that we have to put a name down without having a DNA test. And if you don't have someone ready to be DNA tested or whatever, you probably need to look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you living right?
Okay. Byron, what say you?
Yeah. It's ditto for me with that. 100%. You're going through all those procedures anyway while you're in, labor.
Yeah.
Why not take it just one step further, get the proof, so you don't have to go through all the drama in the future. People see it all the time on little TikTok reels and all this other stuff where the kid's not theirs and then they crash out.
Yep.
You're going to prevent a lot of potential homicides
Yes.
on top of that, because people, when you're spending all that type of money
Yeah.
on a kid that's not yours, you're going to probably take it to another level.
100%.
So
I mean,
you can just say
100%.
all that stuff and just get it over and done with, so there's no questions.
No questions.
well, okay, so if I'm understanding you and hear you correctly, you both agree that you think that it should be mandatory to have a DNA test, which I can't say
To
that
put a man
I'm
on the birth
against that
certificate,
from
yes.
you said in order to get a name on the birth certificate.
No, it should be mandatory, period. And I'm saying if you don't have it done, you can't put anybody's name on the birth certificate.
Okay, so if you don't get a DNA test, you don't get. Okay, so
Yeah.
what if there's a couple, they're in a committed relationship, they've been married, they know, they both.
You don't know.
They don't feel like that's necessary because
You
they
don't know.
trust.
And that's why, just like anything else that's in law, this is a legal step. Hey, since you know so much, that's great. We about to know it, and you
What
about
if
to
they
prove it.
don't want their DNA out there and they don't want Big Brother to have access to their DNA?
Can't put the man on the birth certificate. And I don't even know
That's what
of a
I mean.
case like that, but they already have your DNA.
Once you give your DNA, and even if it's for a drug test or a blood test or whatever, that's going somewhere into some database.
government got
And
it
now they
anyway.
will have your
100%.
your
got your
DNA footprint.
They
And
got
some
it
people
anyway.
don't want that.
They got it anyway. You have to get immunizations for certain things. We live in a world where
There are
you
people
gotta
who
be past
don't
that.
do that for religious reasons as well.
And then people, I feel like if you're that extreme on, you're probably not even gonna have your baby in the hospital anyway. So
Right.
I don't even know.
Oh,
That
wow.
part.
But
Okay.
it should be mandatory, and you should be required before a man's name goes in the birth certificate. It should be accompanied with the DNA proof that is the accurate
Well,
father on
what
the birth
if
certificate.
the guy is what if the father is in jail, or what if the father has passed away, or
Mhm.
what if
I'm gonna walk it on down.
there's
You
no
can get.
scenario
I'm
where
gonna walk him on down. If
okay.
he's in jail, you can go to in jail and get the DNA. You know exactly where he is. You can get his DNA. That doesn't stop anything. If he's dead, you can still get his DNA. If, God forbid something happens, whatever, you have access to his DNA. If you were in a relationship with a man, you got a piece of his hair from a comb or something. This is not ridiculous. You don't got to be 007 to get somebody's DNA.
But
It's
if I
not
don't
that
want to
deep.
give up my DNA, you can't make me do that. And then so you're telling me that I don't have a right to my child because I don't want to submit to a DNA test. I'm speaking
We
as
don't
a
know
man.
if it's your
Like,
child. We don't know if it's your child, and I don't think men will have a problem. I don't think men have the
should a
issue with
man be
this.
able to then have the option to opt out of DNA testing? But with the caveat that if he does opt out, then by doing this, you assume responsibility for this child. And
No, you do not assume responsibility of the child. We'll get into that later with the financial abortion. But if the man doesn't, for whatever reason, he doesn't want, then he has no legal claim to the child, and you can't put your name on the birth certificate for the child. But you can't be held responsible for it at all.
what do you say, Byron?
It,
There's no
it,
loophole.
I mean, if that's what he wants to do, so be it. If he wants to say that he wants to try to be a good father and step up to the plate and just say whatever, well, then he would probably have to take legal responsibility. But I really don't see any man doing that whatsoever. I mean, if it was reversed,
It's like that now, right? Because there's no you taking a chance, like you're not being forced now to put your DNA up. And
no,
you,
you're not.
you
But you
assume
would
that
just
that's your
save a lot
child.
of drama, though, if you just go ahead with it. I know the females are not going to be with it, just because
They want to get
everybody.
away with it. That's why. If you're a woman and you have a problem with a paternity test, that's because you're not sure who the father is. If you're certain who the father is, you should be like, yes, bring the test to alleviate all confusion. And that's an easy A. I don't know nobody don't take an easy A.
No, so here's the problem I have with this whole thing about making it mandatory.
Let's hear it.
What you're doing is assuming that women are loose.
That's
And
not what that
men can
assumes.
be loose too.
That's not
And
what that
so
assumes.
the majority of the time, the paternity is in question to the point that to ensure that we have the correct paternity or the correct father identified, the only way to ever know conclusively is to have this DNA test.
That's not what it assumes, but the only way to know conclusively is to have a DNA test.
Right.
That is the only way. But it doesn't assume that they're loose. That's false.
But
That's just how you're feeling about it.
Prove it then. If you can't
Why do you need to prove it?
or assume that the
That's
woman,
ridiculous.
If you can't assume that the woman that you're
I wouldn't
with is
ask why do you
only
need to prove it. I would ask why would you not want to prove it. I would ask.
2026. It's 2026 now. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
There's too much sexuality in society today. Just to think that this one person is going to be monogamous with you. And I mean, a lot of these kids are made off one night stands anyway.
Yeah, which is a problem in and of itself. But the point is, to eliminate all confusion, you have the test and you have it. That way we know. It's not no guessing. It's not no maybe. It's not all that other stuff is just noise, honestly. Men, don't be distracted by this noise. And if you're a man, you need to, no matter what, 100% have a DNA test. 100%. You don't even got to ask her if you feel like it's going to cause some drama. I think you should say it to her. I don't think you should be scared to say it to her. You should tell her up front when you get, no matter what, we DNA test and everything. And it shouldn't be no issue. But if you are scared to whatever, get it secretly so that you know. Because but I think it should just be mandatory in the law. And there's no downside to it being mandatory. It would clear up a lot of harm and confusion because 18 years on the 18th birthday, you found out it wasn't his. That's abominable. That is abominable. With a simple solution that in 2026 is more than easy to implement.
All right. Okay. So you guys think that it should be mandatory. I can't say
100%.
that I'm definitively against it as the recoverist.
Okay.
However, I think that the problem that facilitates the need for this to be something that could be potentially put in place is the issue. And I think we need to solve that. Like solve,
you mean like promiscuity and stuff like that?
Right. The behavior.
We can't even deal with that. That's
the behavior.
That's a whole nother episode. That's a whole nother episode. We can't speak the behavior.
And that's not just with women. Women are just the ones who are
It's 100% a woman's fault for every child that's raised. It's not the man's fault. It's a woman's fault. No. In a society of my body, my choice, where women get the decision if a child is brought to term or not, man has no say after the deed. which is sex.
But that's when his
No.
say was.
That's
His
no.
say
You
was
don't have a say.
feed,
That's
where
not the
he would
same.
leave a
That's not.
package
That is
that
not a
he
say.
didn't want to.
That's not the say. And men, do not be
child.
thrown. Do not be thrown off by this. That's not the truth at all. You
It is
both
the
chose.
truth.
You both chose to have sex, but only one of you gets to decide if a baby's born, and that is the person whose responsibility it is.
Okay.
If
well,
a
we're gonna save
person
that
falls
topic
out of
for
you, that is on you 100%.
another episode.
She got pregnant on accident. She had that baby on purpose.
That's another episode. Man, don't be in my comments with this foolishness. Just kidding.
Keep it
All
real,
right.
man.
Well, let's keep it moving. All right. So since it is not mandatory today, okay.
Unfortunately,
so it's not mandatory. Should paternity fraud be criminalized?
100%. And because we hear these horror stories on social media, and they're not all skits. A lot of them are true, where the woman's talking about she's sleeping with multiple men at the same time, and she picks the most financially stable and successful one to put the baby on, and all that stuff. And knowingly, you won. First off, this mandatory DNA test would eliminate that. But if you committed paternity fraud and you put a baby on a man and you weren't sure, you unsure, I think it should go as far as, if it's ever discovered that the child is not who you said the child father was, she should be criminal. She should be in prison.
In prison?
She should be in prison.
Okay. Byron, I gotta hear your thoughts on this.
This type of stuff goes on all the time.
Sadly.
Sadly, it does go on all the time. Now, given she might not know who the dad is, like I said, some folks try to step up to the plate, but if she's deliberately doing it, like, let's say if she had a choice.
How do you prove whether it was deliberate or not? Like, I legit thought you were the dad because
you squash all that with what we said earlier with the
100% paternity test.
So all that squashed. So if you have that, you don't have to go to this level.
I see that as robbing a man for years. You should do 3 years in prison for every year that man was supporting that child.
And get compensated back for what you put in.
100%. Pay him back.
Okay, well, that was going to be my next question. Should a man get their
100%.
Get their money back if
100 with interest?
Their paternity
with interest, because it's no different. If you put a child on a man that's not his, that's no different than you financially robbing a man. So all the money and time and everything we need that has a dollar amount, has a value amount, and then we need to multiply it because he could have been doing something else with that. And then on top of that, you owing that man that fine because you go to prison for financial crimes. I believe that's a financial crime.
You do.
But you have to be able to prove. You have to be able to prove intent and that it was.
Now you're speaking to something else. You're speaking to being able to prove it.
In the cases, you have to be proven guilty, found guilty by preponderance of the evidence.
No, here's how simple it is. Here's how simple it is. Here's how simple it is. At the hospital, well, one, if we have the DNA testing, it eliminates all this. But in a time where we don't, this is how you prove it. You say, who's the father? Everybody's what? Is there any possibility someone else could be the father? If they say no, and they're not honest about it, they just lied.
Well, what if they thought? What if they thought?
That's fine. That's fine. Did you sleep with it? Because they're gonna explain it to them. Oh,
that's
you know how your body works.
That's
no. Is there any chance? No. Is there any chance someone else could be the father? If they're unsure, the DNA test. But if it's proven, if they say no, there's no chance, whatever, and it's proven that the man's not the father at any point, you're going to jail. Financial crimes. You're stealing. That's a financial crime. That's how I see it.
I think that's gonna be tough to prove because you have to prove intent.
I don't either.
I don't think it'd be tough to prove.
You have to prove that I intentionally.
You're talking about being able to prove it. That's a separate part. If it is proven, do you agree that it should be punished? That's the question. It's not how do you prove it. It's if it is proven.
Okay.
No. I agree. We agree on that. I'm not saying it's easy to prove. I'm saying if it is proven, it's already been proven. Do you believe that it should be punished? That's the question. Not do you have to. We understand you have to prove that something is an issue before it can be punished. I'm saying in the case it has already been proven. We caught you lying about this, and you were lying for 3 years. We got the text threads, girl. He's so stupid. He think this his kid. It's not. We have proven that
you got receipts.
There's paper trails all day. Digital age.
Question: do you agree with that? I'm saying yes. What do you think?
Okay, well, in that case, then yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think anytime you do any kind of crime, that would be theft by deception, and that's already a crime.
And
And I
it
think it one could
no.
posit it that way to fit under that because it's whenever you're fraudulently and willfully, knowingly,
So we're in
you know.
agreement on this. They
I
should
agree
be
with that,
punished for
but I
that.
don't
We're in
think that that's
agreement.
the case the majority of the time. Now,
That's
I
not what we're
don't
talking about.
disagree that that happens.
Mhm.
And, you can use that argument for a lot of things. Just like guys getting out of jail and the girl, he's not acting right, so she says he beat her to get him put back in jail. So
Yeah, but
there are
we
things
staying
that
on this. We're not talking about
there
all
are
the
things
wrongs
that
in the
people
world.
do,
We talking
but I
about
don't
this
know.
particular wrong.
I don't know that it's the okay. So let me ask you this. So what about the scenario where we're
Mhm.
together, we're in a relationship, we break up,
Yeah.
and these days,
Mhm.
break up or break,
Mhm.
whatever that a break is supposed to mean.
Uh-huh.
9 times out of 10 today,
Yeah.
people go and see other people. And what if in the midst of going to see another person,
Mhm.
you unknowingly or unwittingly became pregnant and you didn't know because maybe you used protection, or maybe you were on birth control, or maybe you were
This is
on
all a
something.
simple fix with the
Look,
DNA test.
thank you, Jay. I was gonna say that first question with the DNA test squashes any
Everything.
more of this conversation that we're having because it's
Yeah.
already said and done with.
Well, because it would a DNA test would do that, but the question is, should it be mandatory?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
100%. It
It
should be
probably
And
don't because the states make a lot of money off child support too.
Yeah.
States make a lot of money off child support.
It's
So
a
then
racket.
it's probably deep why it's
It
not
is.
in
yeah,
that way because people making money off this child support. So why change it?
And I don't think you should even be eligible for child support if you didn't have a child license. That's another conversation though. I think you should get a license to have a child, just like you get a license for other things. I don't think, and I think the man should have to sign into it and willingly say, I'm doing this or whatever, alleviate a lot of confusion.
okay. So you guys are saying that you think that having a DNA test requirement is
Yes.
gonna solve for what? Like, what is that gonna do uh for men in relationship as it relates to moving us forward, or like what do you think this is
And
gonna
in
solve?
dating society, it's gonna solve all paternity fraud. There will be no paternity fraud. Every man will know that the kid that he saddled with, he'll at least know that it's his kid. That is a lot in and of itself. No doubt, no wondering, no whatever. Okay, this is my kid. That in and of itself alleviates a lot of problems.
It does. Them being a good father doesn't alleviate that. That's a whole nother thing. But at least they know if it's theirs or not,
Right.
and you could just take it from there.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's turn the tables. All right, so we have gone to, the delivery room, we've had the baby, we've done the paternity test. You are the father is the result.
Mhm.
Does the woman get to then say, leave this baby with you?
What? Leave the baby with who?
You, the father.
With the
Can
man.
she then, since it's proven that
Mhm.
and I'm going this way because we're headed towards our big question.
Mhm.
And so I'm turning us that slowly heading that direction.
Mhm.
But if it is indeed proven that um, you are the father,
Mhm.
and the woman then hand you off that baby.
So here's the thing. That happens
No.
rarely, but all these things come back to system and structure, and the lack thereof is the reason we find ourselves in this position that we are today. So if there are situations where the woman says she don't want to have it, the man's like, well, I want you to have it, and you can just give it to me. If you're in that type of situation, then you can give it. A lot of these women are
No,
having.
no, 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 no. I don't care if he wants it or not. I'm saying it's proven that he is the father because we've
I'm
done this
answering the
DNA
question.
test.
I'm answering the question. If you are in a situation
No, no,
where
no, no, no. Not if we in no agreement,
you
no
got to let me finish
situation.
answering the question.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you are in a situation where the woman has the child and the man desires to have the child, but she doesn't want it part, she can
That's
give
not a
it to
requirement that he desiring it.
she can give if he doesn't want it, if nobody wants the child, you got to put it up for adoption. But a lot
Right.
of women are having unwanted children, which is a problem in and of itself. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be having. That's why I'm an advocate that you should only have children within marriage. which will alleviate a lot of foolishness. But if you're having an
No, it
unwanted,
doesn't alleviate it.
if it alleviates a lot of foolishness.
I don't know
But
that
this
there's enough.
rebelliousness against system and structure is why we find ourselves in these problems today. If she wants to give the child up to the man, but the man don't want it, they got to put it up for adoption at that point.
I didn't say whether the man wanted it or not. What I said was, my question was, should then, if it is proven that you are the father, does she then have the right to just hand you this baby and walk away?
No, she doesn't. How did she get absolved from just not having the baby? That now that it's proven that it's his. What that doesn't even
The
make sense to
same
me.
way the guy gets to walk away if the girl does it, which leads us to our next topic. And this
Okay.
was the big hot button issue of the day. But I wanted to put that out there. See how they quickly y'all just like, women leave the baby. What? Well, women get left with these babies every day. They're left with these kids.
You're conflating
Whether
things.
they're able to deal to make it mandatory to have this DNA to solve the DNA paternity fraud question is conflating that happens the majority of the time.
That's not conflating
No,
anything.
have to
Anything.
warrant
Thank you.
a
That's
man.
not conflating anything.
That's just that's
all
helping
right.
a problem out.
We'll disagree.
Right.
We'll agree to disagree on that.
Okay.
But so,
Yeah.
which brings us around to the topic that I really want to get to. Jay, I need you to
Let me break it down.
enlighten us all on
All
what
right.
it
So
means to have a financial abortion rights.
So here's
Talk
what it
to
is.
us.
All right. So here's what it is. So financial abortion rights is same thing for women. My body, my choice. For men, it's my wallet, my choice. Right. So if a woman says that she's
My
pregnant,
wallet, my
you gotta let me walk it all down. So if a woman says that she's pregnant, right, and she wants to have a child, I don't believe, my personal opinion, that a man should have any right over her body to force her one way or the other. I do agree with my body, my choice, but I also agree that if the man says, "Hey, I don't want to raise no kid with you. This wasn't what this was about. Whatever." He should be able to financially abort all obligations. He can't be put on child support, put on the birth certificate, held responsible at all. I believe he should be able to have the financial abortion. And and
and
there's nothing that the court he can't come back later and they get child support or whatever. They know, will I change my mind later, whatever. No. Legally, from a legal perspective, it would absolve him of all financial ability, all rights to the child, but he can't be put on child support or held accountable in any way. But he would also lose all of his say forever, and it wouldn't be able to be reversed.
so he's
I believe
basically
men deserve that.
terminating his rights.
No, because you can terminate your rights and still be put on child support. So it is greater than that. It is a legal and financial protection, and he will have. And if he chooses to financially abort, he can't be put on the birth certificate either or anything.
Well, you know what a financial abortion could be if you wanted to take it another direction? A
Okay.
condom.
That's not the same thing at all.
There
And
you go.
men,
There's your
men
financial
don't fall.
abortion right
Men
there.
don't
Don't
fall
be
for
around
these
here
tricks
getting
and these
people
traps.
pregnant,
No, don't
and
fall for
you
these
don't
traps.
want the financial responsibility.
Don't fall for these traps.
Be intentional about
Don't fall for these
and
traps,
be
man.
responsible. They
No.
have stuff.
Because that's the same
you
thing
don't
as
have
telling
to be in
women
this
you don't get the my body, my choice rights. You're forced to have it because you could have made them use a condom, or you could have been abstinent or whatever. Men don't fall for this.
Abortion illegal.
Men don't fall for this. They've not made it illegal. They've not made it illegal. They gave it back to the state, so it's on a state-by-state basis. Men don't fall for the
In a
traps.
state-by-state
Don't fall for these
basis, they have
tricks.
stepped on women's rights
Don't
and
fall for these
their
tricks.
right to choice and to decide.
And even if they
their
did step
body,
on their
their
rights,
choice.
that doesn't mean that it was the right thing to do.
So
So
those
men
women are
do not
stuck.
fall for this. Do not fall
And
for this trap.
if I'm stuck, you're stuck,
No.
Chuck.
And why you would want to make a man stuck, have a child in a stuck situation,
What did we
speaks
say?
to
Right,
a
exactly.
lot of
Women are
issues.
saying, why are you making
It
a woman
does.
have a child in a stuck situation?
No, nobody wants to do that. I am personally
Tell
for
them they can't
abortion
make
rights
a
for women.
decision
But I'm
about
for
their
the
body.
choice to make it even because it's not fair right now under the law. I'm talking about legally.
It's
Women
not fair.
have
When
the
they
ability.
took away the abortion
Women
rights,
have the ability.
it's unfair for
They're not
everybody
taking
now.
away anybody's abortion rights. Women can still get an abortion.
If they go somewhere
Yeah,
else, and
it's
if they
gotta
don't
be
have
the
the
state.
financial means to do that, then what?
If it's not if they go somewhere, they may be in a state where it's already legal, so they don't have to go nowhere but to Planned Parenthood. So you're trying
Which is
to
my point,
position
that
this from the worst part. It's not good faith the way your proposition is, first of all, because you're trying to do it from the she that she can't do it and she can already. In most states, you can already
What
do
I'm
it.
saying
And
is
then
that
if she's
both
in a
parents
state,
should be
no, if she's in a state where she
responsible for
can't,
their
she can go to another. That's not what we're arguing. We're not arguing, debating sexual responsibility. We're talking about should men have financial abortion rights, and they should. So the point is, even if she's in a state where it's quote unquote not legal, she can take a trip somewhere where it is, get it done, and come back. A man has right now legally, he has no say in that. But I'm fine with that. I don't think a man should be able to force a woman to do this or that with her body. I'm cool with that. But at the same time, he should have the right to be able to say, no, I don't want to be a parent. I don't want anything to do with this.
He
Whatever.
does have the
You're
right
on
to
your
say
own.
he doesn't want to be a
If
parent.
he does, I'm talking about legal
responsible.
protections. I'm saying with legal protections. And if she does, knowing that, because this is all absent system and structure, that's why they're falling into this in the first place, because women are just getting pregnant by anybody. A lot of them aren't. You're not even in a real relationship, so you've already brought a lot of this on yourself. And to have anybody baby
Whatever she
with
brought on
someone,
herself, he brought on
she
himself
brought,
as well. They're equally
and no, they're not. They're not equally responsible.
They're equally responsible.
They're not equally responsible.
They're equally responsible.
They're not equally responsible because only a woman in the United States, only a woman gets to decide if a child's born or not. So you're not equally responsible. I can't be equally responsible for a decision that I don't have a choice, a hand in making. I can't force you to get rid of it. I can't force you to keep it. So no, we're not equally responsible. We equally decided to have sex. We did not equally decide to have a child.
That both the woman and the man see abortion as an option.
It doesn't matter how you see it as an option. No, I'm talking about from a legal standpoint. It doesn't matter how they feel morally about it. She can. If she says, first off, she wasn't so religious that she didn't have sex. But if she want to be so religious that she can't get an abortion, this is not a moral question. I'm talking about from a legal standpoint. She can if she wants to. The man cannot. And that's what I'm saying is unfair and why men deserve that right as well. Legally, yes.
What do you say, Byron? You think men should be able to walk around and get all these women pregnant and not have any financial?
Why are all these women allowing themselves to get pregnant?
I think if you get more than one, if you get more, let's say it this way, if you get more than, let's say two women pregnant and you don't stay with those women, then you should go to jail.
She chose to get pregnant.
That's financial fraud because you are.
That's not financial fraud.
Babies that you do not want to take
care of.
She
didn't have to keep it.
And you credit
the
these
question
babies.
Isn't why he's sleeping with, because you got to separate it. Why are women choosing to have children? Why are women choosing to have children unwanted and without any commitment?
But you're going to go to prison for going around here doing this to all these women.
What?
Being fiscally, it's all irresponsibility.
It's not all the same.
Side.
No.
And the irresponsibility has created a life.
No.
No matter how you slice it or however you want to do it, the sexual irresponsibility of the woman, the sexual irresponsibility of the man, if it results in a child, they are both responsible for that action.
They both didn't have an equal say in whether she had. Only she had a say.
And all these other perspectives.
Because that's the only thing we can debate. All that other morality thing doesn't even matter because it's a lie. Because if you were that religious and had that, you wouldn't be doing this in the first place. You don't care about that.
You're trying to legally.
They're out here being permissive.
You're trying to legally solve a
morality problem. I'm not trying to legally solve a morality problem. I'm trying to make it legally fair for men and give them a place. I'm not trying to legislate a moral problem. I'm making it equal under the law. If women have abortion rights, men should have financial abortion rights. That's fair across the board. You have the right, and now the man has the right. That's fair. Right now, women have the right, men have no right.
That's if and only if an abortion occurs or doesn't occur. But if a
life, the choice.
If a life is brought
the choice,
into the world,
the choice to do it. Right now, it's very simple. Women have the right to have an abortion. After the deed is done, the woman's pregnant. The woman gets to decide if she has it or not. The man has no. Listen very carefully. The woman she's already pregnant. The sex has already occurred. The woman gets to decide, do I want to have a child or not? The man has no decision. No. Listen to what I said again. The woman gets to decide. I'm not assuming nothing. I'm not assuming anything. It is a choice. Whether you feel it's a choice or not, it is factually a choice. So the woman gets to make a choice. Do I carry this to term or do I not? The man, no choice. I'm saying the man should have an equal choice of, do I want to be financially tied to this or not? So that way the woman has a choice and the man has a choice. That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. I'm talking about legally. That's fair. I'm saying
if you're going to do that, then you have to also, there has to be punitive action towards men who continually go
No, there doesn't.
around getting all these women pregnant.
There's not punitive action for women
So there
who
should be
use an
there
abortion
should be
clinic for birth
punitive action
control.
for that.
No, so there's no punitive action for women.
If you
There's no
you get
punitive
20
action
women or more
for
pregnant,
women.
and do not
See,
assume
what you
any
want to do is
financial
take away independent
responsibility
choice.
for
What
creating all
what
these
what you want to do is take away choice. You're taking away choice. And I'm about to walk this down to you. I'm about to walk this down to you of how, and men beware of this. You want to take away women's autonomy and their choice. I'm trying to give men their autonomy.
not anybody's
Because
choice.
if a woman chooses to have a child, she made a choice to do that.
You assume that
No.
women think that it's a
Let me bring it
choice.
back. Let me bring it back. No. Let me bring it back. Let bring it back. Let me bring it back. Let me bring it back. They didn't believe in God when they was having premarital sex. Let me bring it back. If a woman chooses to have a child, she made a choice. So that's fine. If 5 women choose to have a child, those 5 women chose to do that. That's fine. If those 5 women happen to have been pregnant by the same man, they still made the choice. They did, at no point did they not have a choice. A man can't force 5 women to have his children. That's not how that works. They have to 5 individually choose. And this is the problem today why we have these issues. Women do not want to be responsible for the choices that they make.
And men do not want to be responsible for the choices that they
Men
make.
don't have a choice right now. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Men
not
should be
true.
given
You
a
do
choice.
have a choice. You have
No.
a choice by being sexually responsible.
That's not a
your
choice. That's not what we're talking
That's
about.
your choice. What about your choice?
That's what we're talking, because what we're talking about is having the choice after pregnancy. So we're not talking about anything
That's the
before.
choice.
Men
It's
don't
not
fall for
get
this
a-
Jedi mind
That's your
trick.
choice.
This is a
That's
Jedi
your
mind
choice.
trick, all right?
That's your choice. Your choice
Genjutsu,
before this.
genjutsu of this level does not work on me.
That is your choice.
All right?
That is your choice,
Genjutsu of this
sir.
level does not work on me.
Exercise the choice.
This
to wear
is about after
exercise
pregnancy.
the choice to have
No,
a.
this
what
is
do you call
about
that?
after pregnancy has occurred. This is not about anything before. This is about after pregnancy has occurred. This is not about anything before. So men, do not move off that
It won't
square.
be no before
This is about
or after
after.
if you get a vasectomy.
This is not about anything before. This is about after. So it's already done. This is about the options after it's already done.
And after it's
Anything
done,
before it
then
is not a
you're
conversation.
responsible.
That's a separate conversation that we can have for a separate topic. But this is about after it's already done. So we're not talking about nothing before. We're talking about everything after. The only person with a choice after is the woman. And that's unfair. Legally, that is unfair.
It may be unfair in your opinion.
That's a fact that that's unfair.
In your opinion.
It's
However,
100% unfair.
Here's the thing. The child didn't ask for any of this.
Nobody cares. If you cared about the child, you would have planned for
Oh my
it.
God, nobody cares
This
about the child.
this is about just like nobody cares about the child. The woman don't care about the child. She just had the child and she had anybody, baby. She didn't plan. She's not married. She's not even in a relationship. The man don't even want. Don't nobody care about the child. So we're not gonna pretend like people care about the child. This is not about the child. This is about the man having rights.
In love with the child, you want the child.
Don't nobody care about the child.
None of that.
We're gonna tell the truth today.
If you bring the child into this world and you create it, and you have, because the woman cannot do that by herself.
No. She has a choice to do that.
If it happens and this child comes into this
She
world,
has
at
a
that
choice.
point, both people are responsible.
No, they're not. Only one person
Both
chose to
people
have
are
it.
responsible.
Only one person chose to have it. And the
Both
laws,
people
and
are
just because it's not
responsible.
legal today, men, hear my voice now. Just because it's not legal today does not mean it can't be legal tomorrow. Man, we need to fight for our rights and advocate for ourselves because only we care about ourselves. And women are not going to see it because it does not benefit them to see so. Women understand that they can control prey. And when they text and I can't wait to put you on child support. I'm gonna have the baby anyway. I know you know. But they understand very much that it's in their power.
Yeah.
They understand. They throw it in your face. Don't be tricked by this. This is all this other stuff is nonsense. It's unfair that women have the right and men do not. Now, I don't want to take away women's rights. I want to give men rights. And that, guess what? The woman still has a choice. So if men have financial abortion rights, guess what the woman still has? She still has the right. It's still my body, my choice. So that doesn't change anything from the woman. The woman still can choose if she wants to or not. All this does is protects men. But people don't want men to be protected under the law. And it's unfortunate.
Conjecture is trying to legislate and dictate human moral behavior.
That's false.
Law, and it doesn't work.
That's false.
And the issue here at the core is being responsible for your behavior. And these options, these laws, even my body, my choice, even that.
Are you for taking abortion rights away from women?
Even saying that.
No, are you for that?
Is a way of trying to give yourself a way to absolve financial
No. Are
responsibility
you
to
for
the
taking
child.
away abortion rights from women?
No, I am not. I don't believe in taking anybody's
All
rights
right.
away. But
So then
but
there we have it.
but at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that if two people participate in an act that created a life, you don't just get to
That's
skip
not what
past
it's
that.
about. You do.
Whether you
You
want to
do,
or
actually.
not, whether you like it or not, you
If
don't
you're a
get to skip
woman, you
past
do
it.
get to skip past
If
it.
it results in a child being brought into this world, you are both responsible for that. Like you can say conjecture and conflate and say whatever you want to say, but you participated in that act. That DNA, half of that DNA belongs to you both. And so you are both equally responsible. Now,
Consent to sex is not consent to a child.
it is if you do it unprotected, knowing
No.
full well that a child is
No.
possible from
I will say that consent to sex is not consent to a child.
You can say all the words that you want to say,
Consent to
but
sex is
the
not consent to
truth
a child.
is, if you take the male and the female and you put those parts together, the likelihood that a child will be created is 50-50, and you take that chance when you take that dance.
No.
So, I've heard enough.
Mm-mm.
We're going to end it here. This was quite lively, and I think we might have to revisit this again in the future. Thank you guys for being on the show today and giving us this male perspective in this dialogue. I think that as a relationship coach and having to support people going through these real life situations, I believe in self accountability and coming into relationship from a place of being whole, secure, and fully aware and responsible for yourself and your own actions. And if you take those steps and you do them wisely and you choose wisely, then you won't end up in this situation. Right?
Hopefully not.
And that's the goal. So hit me up at www.the-recoverist.com for more information. Case dismissed.
Be sure to hit the like, comment, share, and subscribe button and leave your verdict in the comments below. We want to hear from you. And make sure you follow us online on Instagram at Love on Trial ATL for special behind the scenes footage and special updates.
Do you need to put your love on trial? If you want to be a guest couple on the show or share your story, please send us an email at loveontrialcasting@gmail.com. Until next time, keep asking the hard questions, keep growing, and remember, every great relationship deserves a fair trial. See you next week.